Solar flash update, March 26th and 27th, 2023. Healing effects from the first wave continue and are increasing. War between the United States and Iran, possibly. And people are continuing to rise up against the rule of the psychopathic elites. Hi, this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard, and this is the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel, where I give you practical tools to give yourself the ability to shift. You don't have to wait, even though it may be possible that the solar flash has begun. But still, there's no reason for you to wait for something to happen to you. It's in your best interest to take action, to do the work to shift yourself. And this is the channel where you will get some of the most powerful tools, if not the most powerful tools on the planet, in order to shift your vibration up and to completely change. So let's get into my observations now. We had our first big solar flash event. When was that? It was a few days ago. I don't even remember. Let me see what I see here. Had to have been, yeah. So let's see. What date was that? I don't remember. Anyway, it was a few days ago, and I shared with you my feelings about that. And then yesterday I had the same feeling when I woke up. As I was waking up, the sun now, I feel the power of the sun very strongly when it starts to rise. And I actually feel like a conscious spiritual being has come into my room and is empowering me and waking me up. And I've come to realize that's actually the sun. I've now created a personal connection with the sun, and the sun literally comes in my room, not just in the rays, but before she rises over the top of the horizon. I can feel the power of the sun speaking to me, and I wake up. This is something new, because normally I go to bed super late and I wake up super late. So this is a completely new thing. I'm getting up at dawn if I want. Another interesting thing that is definitely new, and we'll see if it sticks around, but if things continue the way they are, it is an absolute complete shift on a bodily level. My body is changing in a bunch of different ways. But one of them is being able to go surfing every single day. Now, what has happened over the past decade at least is that when I go surfing, I need at least a day, sometimes 2 days, before I can go surfing again. In fact, I will be in so much physical pain from the shoulder stiffness, but mostly the lower back. I'll be in so much stiffness and pain that I'll need to go and get a massage. And sometimes in the past, if I've gone 2 or 3 days in a row, I'll end up throwing my back out. Now, I just chalk that up to age, that this is what happens when you get older. But I'm able to do it now with no negative side effects. Some tiny bit of stiffness in the shoulders, but that's normal. But to be able to go and surf like that, and to be tired and have my back be a little bit stiff and sore for the first couple of hours and need to take a nap or whatever, but then wake up and be fine, and then wake up the next day perfectly capable of getting up to go surfing, that's something that's unheard of. But let me tell you why it's so significant. Not only is it encouraging, the idea that maybe I'm going backwards in my physical body is getting younger, let's hope, as a result of this solar wave. But what's really encouraging is the significance of it. So remember that we live in a society that is based on shame. And what you are being shamed out of is living your highest and truest self. Depending on the home that you came from, your parents gave you taught you how to interact with life. Whatever shame they had, they passed on to you. If you lived in a very toxic environment, it's pretty obvious. They outright shamed you, and you didn't feel worthy to be alive unless you did what made them happy. But for the rest of human beings, it was on some level, even beneath that. There was some level of shame underneath. And so the challenge is either you live for yourself or you fit in with society in order to be loved and accepted. So I came from a very toxic home. It was so toxic that what was programmed into me was that if I was truly happy, prosperous, and free, I was literally causing pain and damage to my mother and my brother. Now, of course, this was on a deep unconscious level, and that's why my brother ended up being homeless as an old man, because he had so much shame around the idea of being happy. And of course, he wasn't conscious of this, but he had so much shame around the idea of being happy that he felt he was killing his mother, even though after his mother was dead. That's why he couldn't get off the street. Well, I've been working on myself ever since I was 18. I've been in therapy, self-help groups, spirituality, meditation. So I've been working at this for, over 40 years. And what I've come to realize is that the physical pain and the muscular pain that I felt after surfing was a result of me unconsciously punishing myself for harming my mother and my brother. Because if I live my greatest happiness, and there's no place I'm more happy, surfing is the most happy thing I can do. So for me to have that much joy, then I would have to unconsciously punish myself. So there may be two things going on. There may actually be some physical healing and regeneration, and my DNA and my body and my telomeres might be, I might be reversing in age. Yeah, I'll take that. But definitely what's happening is that the guilt, unconscious guilt of associated with me feeling pure bliss by being in this perfect wilderness. To me, this is like a paradise, and the waves are just, they've been consistent ever since I got here this second time, and getting up every day and walking through the rainforest and empty beaches. Yesterday was Sunday, the day before that was Saturday, and those are the days that are the most crowded. And where I go, there's maybe 5-6 people. It's just, and everybody's happy. It's nothing like California, where it's just, you're packed with people and really aggressive male surfers who are competitive and, violent and all that. And, I got none of that here. So I'm in absolute heaven. And for me to enjoy that and not feel any, negative, unconscious, self-punishment is really wonderful. So that tells me something, and that experience is increasing. So we had the first event, which, as you saw, there was people saw the northern lights as far south as Arizona, which is very unusual. And so we definitely had a solar wave event. When it happened, as you know, if you watch the video, the feeling I was getting was that this is it. This is the solar flash event. It's coming. So what I don't know is whether or not that was the one, and we're just going to see continuing effects from it, or if there are more events to come. So we will see about that. I'm not attached to any of this. I'm being honest with you about it. I'm absolutely a newbie to this whole solar flash thing until my ET friends told me about it. I didn't even know the thing existed. So I'm still on the fence about all of it, and I don't need to convince myself of anything. If this all turns out to be nothing, I'll be the first to admit it. But so far, I can't deny I am seeing very real effects from it. I still feel the energy from that event, and there's been more energy coming. I had all kinds of energy downloads yesterday, all throughout the day. Um, of course, I'm still doing my interdimensional meditation. If you're new to this channel, interdimensional meditation is my personal solo CE5 technique. I'm not interested in seeing ships in the sky. I'm interested in communing and meditating with the higher dimensional beings, who I've come to find out are the angels, are the elves, are the ascended masters. They've been with us all the time. They happen to have reincarnated in different dimensions and in some cases different planets and in different bodies, but they're still souls just like ours, and they've been with us our whole lifetimes. They can see beyond this one lifetime. Where we've chosen to come here to Earth, we've chosen to have this very dense three-dimensional experience where we are forced to forget our higher dimensional nature so that we can learn and grow. They are still with us. They have been with us since before we were born, and we will remember them and go back to what we were before we came here, which is immense. Your soul is an immense, incredibly powerful being, far beyond what you can imagine, even in the third dimension. So, as I said, I don't need to make this happen. I don't need to be right or wrong about it. But if I'm being honest, something definitely shifted, and I still feel it sitting here talking to you now. So my hope is that there will be more events based on my when I was first shown this. I was shown this in a dream, which I talk about. If you want to go see it, there's a video on my channel called When I Became an Extraterrestrial, and you can hear what happened in the beginning. And part of it was I had a lucid dream where I was shown an event, a worldwide event happening in the sky. Everybody saw it, and went in the dream. When everybody saw it, they gasped, and they thought it was the second coming of Jesus. And then it became almost immediately apparent that no, this is something else. And I didn't know what that was. And so when I reached out and was doing some CE5 interdimensional meditation, talking to my ET guides, I asked them, what is the event going to be? Is there going to be a fleet of spaceships? And they said, no, the Earth is going to be hit by a series of solar waves of love, which will hit the Earth and will shift the vibration of all consciousness on planet Earth. And I thought that was ridiculous. I thought to myself, I made that up. Came onto the live stream and talked about it, and somebody said, no, that's a real thing. Look up the event. Look up the solar flash. And sure enough, it's a real thing. So, or it's a real thing. At least people believe it's a real thing. So my experience is that something has happened. My intuition is telling me that this is the first of who knows how many more spiritual energy waves that will hit the Earth from the sun. I believe that the impact of the first wave is still taking hold. The vibrations are, going through, and I think we're going to see more and more shifts. I've also been getting the feeling that while this shift is occurring, a couple of things are going to be happening. First is that human beings are going to be responding out of their 3D programming, which means that people who don't know anything about this, who are not on this same spiritual path, that what will happen is they will respond out of their fear. So some people will freak out. A lot of people already, I've talked to some, will have cleansing experiences where they will become physically ill, perhaps. They might have tremendous emotional things going on. So people might feel a lot of anxiety, a lot of sadness may come up. Bear in mind, this is all wound and trauma from living in the psychopathic devaluation 3D mindset. So you have to let go of that. It's like, just like if you eat you know, bad fish, you have to puke it up. So you've got to get rid of all this, which means you may have some challenging emotional and physical experiences, but it's a healing that's coming. And I know I myself am eating far less, which is unusual for me, because normally, my body really wants to pack on the protein, but I just haven't been eating that much, and I've been kind of forcing myself to eat. Um, and as I said, my sleep pattern has completely changed. I'm having crazy, wonderful, powerful, unbelievable interdimensional meditation experiences, um, which I'm not ready to talk about yet. But yeah, so something's definitely going on. All right, so people are going to have their shifts out of their wounds and their trauma, and we're going to see the elites are in panic mode right now. If my interdimensional meditation experiences are accurate, I'm okay if they're not, but if they're accurate, they feel this as well. They know that it's coming and they know that it's here, and they're trying to do all kinds of things to stop it. According to one of my students, her meditation experience told her that um, the elite are using, some kinds of electromagnetic or lasers or something like that to try and stop the solar flash from hitting the Earth. And of course, that's not going to work. But the other things that I've been suspecting might happen, which we'll see, is that they may start some kind of worldwide catastrophe. So we've got some things going on that I believe are trying to distract us, and that is there is now new military tensions between the United States and Iran. And believe it or not, we have troops in Syria, believe it or not, the United States, supposedly fighting terrorism. And what has happened is that this is the narrative anyway, the Iran-backed terrorists in Syria launched a drone attack, and the drone was an Iranian-made drone, which they probably got from us, by the way. So let's just be clear about this. If you think Iran's military technology came from them, no, they came from us. Come on. So they sent a drone and killed one American civilian contractor, and one military personnel was injured. And then, so as a response to that, the U.S. launched strikes on Iranian-backed, bases. And so, what's interesting is if you listen to the American version of it, that's what you hear. You hear that 2 Americans were killed, 1 American was killed, 1 was injured, and so we responded and hit military bases. But if you hear reports from other parts of the world, you find out that that's not actually what happened. If they're telling the truth, what really happened is that the retaliatory strikes were in civilian areas. There might have been military targets, but the largest number I heard was 19 civilians were killed as a result of the U.S. response. You're not hearing that on the U.S. news. They're only giving you one side. Oh, the poor Americans, they're getting attacked by the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. But I believe the other reports, which is that the U.S. is striking back and killing 20 times more people than happened to us. So the whole thing is suspect to me. I think the whole thing is being orchestrated from a worldwide multinational base of elite operations. So I don't buy any of it, and this could be a distraction. So if we see more of this supposed terrorist war going on and escalated tensions between the United States and Iran. So what we've got going on is we've got the U.S. basically poised to go to world war with the entire world. U.S. has been provoking China, and U.S. is definitely provoking Russia. U.S. is in a war against Russia by proxy. You know, all of the weapons that Ukraine has come from us, and as you know, the U.S. blew up the pipeline there in Europe, the Russian pipeline. They blew that up, and so what I see is the United States trying to start a war with the entire world, and so we'll see what happens with that. I hope that doesn't come through, but all of this to me is signs that we're heading towards a massive shift. We'll see. Again, I'm sitting here talking to you now, and I'm filled with this very beautiful buzzing. You know, I feel stoned. I feel high. I feel like I probably have a lot of DMT going through my system as a result of all of this stuff. But I definitely feel like that first wave hit, and things are starting to shift. Just here around my house, you know, because I still go through doubts. My 3D brain goes, what is this? Is this even real? And the other day, yesterday, I was getting ready to go surfing, and I put on, you know, my regalia, and I took it off, and a caterpillar fell out. It's like, oh, how the heck did a caterpillar get inside my shorts there? So I put him outside, and I thought about, maybe that's a sign, you know, caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And then last night, as I was in my room here and I was doing my thing, watching Netflix or whatever it was on my computer, and then I got up, and on the door jamb of the door, there was a mantis. He was just perched there on the side of the door, and he was looking at me. And it was amazing, his eyes, you know, his eyes and his head were just the way. And I found that significant because the first ET being that I encountered happened to be a mantis. So I took that and he was literally watching me from the doorway. He was perched on the door watching me. And I took that as a sign. I asked him if he wanted to go outside or if he wanted to stay inside. And he flew up further into the room, up behind the curtains. And then when I looked for him later, I couldn't find him. So wherever he is, if he was actually physically there, I took that as a sign that, you know, the feeling I got was, we're watching you. Stuff is coming. You know, things are going to be coming, which might be, you know, intense to experience, and we're watching you. So that's the feeling I get. I'm not married to it. Maybe this will all blow over and we'll go back to normal, or maybe things are going to intensify. In any case, that is my solar flash update for March 26th and 27th. And we've still got riots and things like that going on in Europe. We've still got things happening politically where, you know, the people are taking over. They seem to be taking back their power. So the elites seem to be losing power right and left. But again, time will tell. We'll see. So anyway, that's it for this solar flash update. I will continue with this. I'm going to be moving to my new place today, and I believe I'll have better internet, so maybe we can start having some live streams. That's it, my friends. I wish you guys all the best. I will see you all very soon. Oh, of course, keep doing the Huar breath. That is going on 24/7. So that's there for you. Go and listen to that. Play it when you're just going around doing your thing. You can meditate to it, sleep to it, you know, chant along with it. It will definitely help you shift. If you're new to all of this, I recommend going to thunderwizard.com and subscribing to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge and doing the exercises. Just press play and follow along, And that will give you the ability to work through any unresolved trauma within you. It will shift your energy up to the next level, and it will make the shift easier and more quick. And I recommend everybody do that. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. We got the books, Interdimensional Revolution, Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, which you can find on Amazon, Kindle, Audible. You can go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com to see all my audiobooks. Click on the US link if you're outside of the US, if you go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. And of course, if you haven't already, do the interdimensional meditation. You can do that here at 90 Day Challenge, but you can also, there's some free guided interdimensional meditations still on the channel. Just put some effort and look for them. And the most powerful thing you can do to help this shift along is to take the initiative to initiate contact with these higher dimensional beings, because when this shift is over, they're going to be as a normal part of our reality as trees and clouds and sunlight. We will be in a new world where we live in a universe where we live alongside higher dimensional spiritual beings, and it will be like a fantasy film. This is what's coming. If you want to be ready for that, I recommend that you do the work to initiate your own shift. And those that get started doing the shift, you'll be ahead of the pack, and you'll be available to help others as they struggle to make the shift, which is very likely going to happen. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. I wish you the best. See you all very soon.